rebuttals. And besides, no one liked my intros anyway. So let's look at the first. Well, before we even move on to the rebuttals for their direct case line, let's look at what they tried to tell us in today's debate. Their first rebuttal was this: judges can be biased too. Well, okay, fine. Everyone can be biased, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the matter of possibility, right? That's what we're trying to mention here in today's debate. Because we told you thoroughly why exactly judges will be less biased than, say, ordinary citizens running around the streets out there in the society, right? We think that there was a fundamental difference there, number one. Judges are educated in 사법연수원 for 4 to 6 years, ladies and gentlemen, about laws and court cases, ladies and gentlemen. The simplistic idea that judges are biased is wrong, because there are many court cases, direct court cases, that the judges have to study explicitly so that they do not make biased decisions, but rather make similar decisions they made in the past when how justice was specifically served. So we don't see how biasness can, is that even a word? Well, biasness can even occur under our model. But second off, they told you how juries are educated before the trial. Again, the same answer, right? Which side would be more educated? Which side gives you more educated judges? A side that gives you judges educated 6 to 4 years in 사법연수원, or a side that gives you a bunch of juries from ordinary citizens, no thank you sir, ordinary citizens that just run out on the streets playing soccer and Hapsco. No thank you. Let's look at the third rebuttal they had for us. Our international court case example doesn't stand. Okay, please, government, tell me why this example doesn't stand. Because we see that this example clearly fits our case line. We told you, ladies and gentlemen, how they talked about juries and how they can be diverse and they can bring diverse opinions to the court. In this case, ladies and gentlemen, first off, it's principally wrong, because if juries bring diversity to the court, then no decision can ever be made, right? Because it's a unanimous decision system, right? So there's a fundamental contradiction there, number one. The second, beyond that, ladies and gentlemen, especially in the case of the Samsung court case, ladies and gentlemen, we told you how the juries had one opinion, one single opinion against the Korean companies that were losing in the competition in the American market. Guess what happened? Unfair trials happened. We see that this is a fundamental problem with their jury system in today's debate. So now that we've dealt with their third rebuttal, let's move on directly to their third actually no, not even their third constructive. Let's move on directly to their constructive arguments. So basically, their constructive argument was one, their premise was that 12 members will be selected randomly. We have the problem with randomly here, obviously. From the citizens. Okay, we have a problem with the citizens here again. And finally, only unanimously voted. Okay, we have a problem here too, right? We have 3 problems with a single policy that is only a single sentence long. There's a problem there, number one. And second off, they talked about how this would create a more democratic society. We thought that this was a fundamental issue in today's debate. Their first analysis was that 대법관s are chosen by the president, so there is no chance for the citizens to participate in, court cases, okay? So first off, let us ask this fundamental question. Why is it so necessary for the citizens to participate in every process, every legal processes for a society to be truly democratic? We really don't get this in the first place, right? Because we see that in the case of the administrative branch, ordinary citizens simply have no direct say whatsoever in how administrative processes or projects are taken care of, right? We don't see how citizens should have a direct say in court looking at the case of the administrative branch, right? Also, we think that we have the congressional hearing system for a reason, right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, all administrative and judicial projects are done under the instructions of the policies made by the representatives of the citizens in the parliament, and they were directly elected by the citizens. So, ladies and gentlemen, we see that ultimately citizens do have a responsibility in what these people and what decisions these people of the parliament do. And in this case, ladies and gentlemen, when the citizens have direct responsibility on how the laws are formed, we see that they have a responsibility to just trust with the officials that they chose ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, to implement and actually see how those policies are, interpreted within the court. And second off, about how the president, elects the 대법관. Here we also have a problem because, again, the same logic works here, right? The president is chosen by the citizens, right? And we see that the presidents choose 대법관s that are in their mentality or their decision, their logicality, moral or logically stable enough to take care of court cases. We think that in this case, the ideology of the president and the 대법관 would be similar, so there would be no problems, right? Because if they decided to support a president, then obviously, ladies and gentlemen, there would be no problem because they have these two similar cases. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to talk about the third rebuttal, but it's obvious that I don't have time. So let's move on to the third constructive argument that we have for you about the social implications. So basically, we think that, first off, this policy will be problematic. So number one, this would cause the creation of a false social propaganda. So ladies and gentlemen, we think that ordinary people will get the misconception that trial systems will be automatically better or closely interlinked with democracy, as more people will be able to show their opinions in trials on the surface, right? We think that this is problematic because number one, citizens will feel less of a need to criticize and see to it that judicial systems are actually improved. We think that this is a dangerous thing in a democracy. We're not saying that trust upon the judicial system and the government itself directly is bad. We say that too much of a trust is a problem, and that will occur under their system. So ladies and gentlemen, for these reasons, we're very proud to impose, and sorry for not making my third rebuttal. I'll give it to you.
Okay.